Episode 3 is here today, and we're going to be talking all about the Marriott Stars and Luminescent program. Before we even dig deep, Jamie, why don't you give us someone's never heard of the Marriott Stars and Luminescent program. What is it? What's it about?
Yeah, that's a great question. So these are special programs available to exclusive travel advisors. So this isn't something that a person can go book on their own. So you need to work with a luxury travel advisor. Booking through these programs really unlocks some awesome perks and benefits. So for someone that doesn't have any status, you're basically getting status by booking with one of these programs. So the Stars program, for example, is great, right? It comes with breakfast for 2 daily, which can be a huge value at some of these luxury properties, right? A lot of times a buffet could be $40, $50 per person. You're typically getting a property credit of $100, upgrade, early check-in, late checkout based on availability. So very similar to having status. Typically you can do a customized welcome amenity for you. And one of the other things that's great about it, it's just like booking directly. So you're still going to earn your nights towards status. You're going to earn your points towards status. So you're really not leaving anything on the table here booking with a Stars agent. You're getting all those benefits plus the benefits of the program.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and start with the Stars program. Since there is a little bit of a difference, what properties can I stay at and receive Stars benefits?
Yep, great question. So Stars is going to be more those luxury brands. So think Ritz Carlton, St. Regis, Edition, Luxury Collection. You've got Bulgari, really the higher end Marriott properties. So true luxury properties. What's nice about these is there's typically no stay minimum. So, hey, I'm staying one night at the Ritz. You can get all these benefits. So you're still going to get the $100 property credit. You're still going to get the breakfast. You're still going to get everything, even on a short stay. So you can get some really good value there.
Excellent. And then what about, we were just talking about, I have a trip coming up to Hong Kong, and I think the Ritz Carlton you were saying has a third night free. Like, how are some of those? Are those like very property specific, or how do you come about finding some of that stuff?
Yeah, so there's a lot of really good promos that come out for Stars and Luminous, and it really varies by property, right? So it's typically not a blanket promo, but you're going to get, third night free, fourth night free, fifth night free, stuff like that comes up. There'll be stay longer promos. So that's typically 3 or 4 nights or longer. There may be a 15, 20% discount. Some will do a confirmed upgrade at booking, which that's a really cool one because you can then really narrow down what room you want. You can typically save some money by booking a category below. So that's a nice promo. Other promo that I love and can add a ton of value is additional property credits. So, it always is going to come with that $100, but there may be an additional $100 per day or $100 additional, $200 additional, so it can really add up. I've seen where, a 5-night stay, you may end up with $600, $700 in property credits, which is really, really nice.
And also something to maybe go into a little more detail about as well, or that I think is pretty interesting, is like if you can get a guaranteed upgrade upon booking, we're able to go in and kind of look at the room counts, which room goes to what, and so we can help give you a pretty good idea of what you're going to be booked into, and there's definitely some really good arbitrage between some of those room levels for sure.
Yeah, especially at properties where a base room may not give you a view of any sort, where all right, let me spend $50 more to get the next category, but we can confirm you into one that's $200 more or something like that. There's some, like you said, there's some really good value to be had in those promos.
Definitely. And then another example too of like a promo, we were just talking about some of our favorite Marriott properties, and I think high on my list is the St. Regis Bora Bora. You found they were running a promo, right? So you were basically looking at free breakfast, which is the standard, and then they were also offering free dinner.
Yeah, bookings. Yeah, you were talking about that was one of the properties you want to stay at. So I was like, let's see what we got there. So yeah, it was a really cool promo going on there. It was, you got your standard, Stars benefits, but in addition to that, you were getting dinner every night, 3-course dinner. And it was a 25% off 4 nights or more, I believe it was. So if you're getting free breakfast and free dinner, you're almost getting into that all-inclusive territory, right? You're eating a big breakfast, maybe a snack at the pool or something during the day, and then you've got dinner covered. So that's nice that you can kind of not have to worry about, what am I going to spend while I'm on this trip? It's already taken care of.
Yeah, you're pretty much just looking at like snacks and alcohol, right, to get you through.
Exactly.
For 4 or 5 nights in Bora Bora, I think even the pricing we pulled was, it wasn't terrible. If you consider you're not dealing with food, especially For those of you that haven't stayed at any of these island resorts, I mean, dinner could easily be $300 to $600 a night.
Yeah, I mean, you think they're importing everything, so it gets very expensive to eat at some of these island properties. So, even just the breakfast being included, right? You're probably talking $100 plus per day savings just in having breakfast included. So that's huge.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I look at the dinner promo. I think every time I've gone somewhere like that, I've had free breakfast through one of the programs or something, and it's like, man, if I could have knocked off, like, did 7 nights on our honeymoon at the Park Hyatt Maldives, like, if I could have knocked dinner off that would have been
huge.
70% of our bill right out the door.
Exactly.
Obviously not a Marriott, but same kind of idea applies. I mean, you're talking, I think you're talking $59 for a cheeseburger, and that's pre-tax tip, so on. So,
oh, yeah.
Even when you're trying to be like on the cheaper end, if you're like, I don't need a lot of food, you're really not getting out of dinner under $300 when you're at these offsite properties for sure. Real quick, you had a St. Regis. I think you wanted to highlight also some of the really good promos that's down in Mexico.
Yeah, so I only stayed one night here before a different stay, but I really enjoyed this property. So this just opened last year. So you've got the St. Regis and the Edition in Kenai, which is Riviera Maya, Mexico. So you can fly into Cancun. It's a 30, 40-minute ride, give or take. Let me pull up what these promos are, but I've booked quite a bit of this, and every time I book it, I see the promo, and I'm actually pretty impressed and shocked by what you get for the price. So they've been running pretty regularly a free night promo with an additional property credit. So let me just, while I'm pulling this up, where'd this
I'll
thing
fill
go?
some airtime for you. I was actually wondering, I was like, you were talking about flying into Cancun, and I was going to be smart and be like, oh, well, you could also look at flying into Tulum, but my goodness, the Tulum airport says it's an hour and 50-minute drive. For some reason, I thought it was a little closer to. But yeah, so Cancun airport's about 40 minutes. So that's the obvious winner there. If anyone's been to Riviera Maya and stayed at, there's like that huge property area with a Rosewood, Fairmont, Andaz. There's one other property I think there. It's this St. Regis is just like 5 or 6 miles north. Right?
Yeah,
it's pretty close.
And it's a very similar setup. So if you've stayed there, I would say this has a similar vibe. It doesn't have all the lagoons and everything, but it's 3 luxury properties in one place. So you've got the Edition, the St. Regis, and another luxury property called Atero. And they're all right next door to each other. So you can dine at one, walk or take a golf cart to the other. Like they're super close together. So that's really nice. Yeah, so Riviera Maya Edition and St. Regis, I got it pulled up. They both have free night promos, third night free, so that's a great one. Another promo going on is an extra $100 resort credit per day on top of what you already get. So say you're going for 5 nights, you're going to end up with a $600 property credit. Those are some really good ones. They also have another promo going, upgrade confirmed upon booking, that we talked about. So that can be huge here because a lot of these have plunge pools. So you may want to book one below that and confirm into a room that has a plunge pool. So those are really cool properties. They're brand new. So they're beautiful. They're really nice. And the promos that they've been running, I think, to get people coming there have just been, over the top. They're probably some of the best Stars promos that I've seen at any property. So it's a good one to check out if you're looking for a really nice property with some decent value.
Now, what's your take on, can you stack those? So like, can I do a 3-night? So can I get a third night free, get my $100 property credit and my confirmed upgrade, or are they separate? I do have to pick one or the other.
Let me take a look real quick, because the last one that I booked, I don't know if it was a free night or if it was like a 20 or 30% off. Okay. Whatever it was significantly discounted. But let me just see what this pulls up as real quick as I pull one. So we have an actual example. So I am pulling up, what am I pulling up here? I just pulled up for a couple weeks from now just to see. I'm pulling up 3 nights. Yeah, this is actually pricing out really good. So this is the St. Regis.
Okay.
So it actually looks like this Stars incidental credit per night works out really good. So it does take a percentage off, where it actually works out to be about the same as the third night free promo, plus the additional $100 per night credits. Regular price is $729 a night. With the promo, it comes down to $547 per night. So it's basically the almost third night free, plus the additional $100 credit. So if you're staying 3 nights, you're going to have $400 credit, breakfast included. You're typically going to get an upgrade there based on availability. and then the discount on the room. So it's a really good deal. And if you compare that to the standard rate, so say you are booking without a Stars advisor and you're just going on yourself to try and book this, the cheapest average nightly rate looks like it's $714 per night, and that's the member flexible rate. By booking with the Stars advisor, you're saving $160 plus per night from the lowest rate that's available to the public. You're getting the breakfast, which is probably $80 to $100 per day value. You're getting a $100 per night property credit plus an additional $100. So 3 nights, you're getting $400. Upgrade, early check-in, late checkout based on availability. So those properties just have some crazy deals right now. So if you're looking for a nice tropical vacation at a beautiful property, I would definitely check out St. Regis or Edition Kenai.
And what's your guess? Do you think a lot of that's just with it being a new property, trying to get people in the door over there?
Yeah, I really do think that's it, right? So when I was there, I mean, it just opened, but it was not very busy, which I enjoy that, right? Like, I don't want to go to a crowded property. So, I mean, obviously I hope they do well and they stay busy, but I'm not complaining about getting these crazy deals and being able to, not be fighting for pool chairs or beach space or anything like that.
Perfect. You have any other good examples of some good like arbitrage in Stars before we move on to Luminescent program?
Yeah, I mean, I really like I think the one night stays. Obviously, I'm not booking a ton of one night stays, but it is a good deal if you're looking for, if you're going to a football game, and there's a luxury property there, you get, book one night, you got $100 property credit, you can cover your dinners, things like that. Night out for a concert, like these are great for one nighters.
Perfect. I think that's a good summary of the Stars program. Let's look at the Luminous program. What properties fall under Luminous and what can we get there?
Yeah, so Luminous has a wide range of properties. So these are, higher mid-range properties when you think about Luminous. So you've got JW, W Hotels, Autograph Collection, some Marriott's, Westin, La Meridian, Renaissance, Tribute, Sheraton, Delta, Gaylord Hotels fall in there. Now, not all of these in each brand participate. This is a little bit more, I don't want to say sporadic, but the hotels have to opt in to participate in the program. So this isn't as blanket, I would say, as the Stars program.
Okay.
But there's a wide range, right? So there's some really nice Sheratons. So you think about Hawaii, right? There's some really nice beach Sheratons. And then there's some Sheratons that probably are not going to fall into this program that don't qualify for it, right? But so I always say it's worth reaching out to a travel advisor to look and see if there's anything that we can do for you, right? Because even if there isn't a promo going on per se, or they don't fall into Luminous, we can still book you the best available rate that's out there typically. But reach out, because if we can get you the breakfast, if we can get you some benefits, like it's definitely worth it.
Okay. Perfect. And then what benefits if you find a hotel that is applicable, what benefits are you getting from the Luminous program?
So Luminous is very similar to the Stars program. You're going to get breakfast for 2 daily, upgrade based on availability, early check-in, late checkout based on availability, welcome amenity. You're still going to earn your points. You're still going to earn your nights. The big difference with the Luminous program versus Stars is it doesn't always have a property credit. They will run promos where you still get a $50 or $100 property credit, but it's not as blanket as the Stars is. So this one, the big benefits are typically the breakfast, the upgrades, things like that. These also do typically have a 2-night minimum stay, where Stars you can do a 1 night most times. But yeah, this one's still across the board, very similar benefits other than the property credit, I would say.
You have any Stars properties that you find pretty interesting?
So Luminous properties I like. I really, and this is one we talked about a little bit before, and I've stayed here a number of times now, is the Swan Reserve in Disney. I know you hit in the intro, I've stayed at every Disney property, so obviously I'm a huge Disney fan, and I really like the Swan Reserve. It's the newest, I'd say, Marriott property that's actually on Disney property. So if you're familiar with Disney at all, this is right in the boardwalk area. So from the Swan Reserve, you can walk to Epcot, you can walk or take the boat to Hollywood Studios. It's a really great location. So if you're looking to stay on Disney property without staying at a Disney property, this is it. So it's a brand new hotel. The rooms are really nice. The location really, as far as non-Disney properties, probably cannot be beat. Like I said, it's in the heart of Disney. And you get the Luminous benefits, which if you've ever stayed at Disney, you're not getting anything for free. You're not getting, you're paying for everything. So getting the free breakfast here, which they do as a $50 credit per day. So you can use that how you want to, right? You can use it in the market. You can use it at the buffet, really however you want, is great. And there's also the Swan and Dolphin, which are right there as well. But the Swan Reserve is my favorite because it's the nicest and the newest.
So give me like a good use case for somebody that's listening. Like, why do I want to be, give me some Disney for dummies, let's say, for a few minutes. Like, A, why do I want to be on property? And then B, why do I want to be on property but maybe not at like a Disney property? Like, what's kind of the differences there?
Yeah, that's actually really good. So a couple things, right? So staying on on Disney property, which this qualifies as staying on Disney property, you're able to, if there's early park entry or extra hours, you're going to qualify for those. You're actually going to be able to link these hotels up to My Disney Experience. So it is just like you're staying on property. You're able to book, lightning lanes and stuff ahead of time now. So that's one of the benefits, right? Where if you stay off property, you don't have that access. You're not getting the extra hours, the extra benefits, things like that. On top of that, just the Disney transportation, being able to walk to Epcot or walk to Hollywood Studios, you're not having to deal with, taking a shuttle in or anything like that. So location-wise, can't be beat. Another reason is if you're a Marriott loyalist, right? You want to earn your points. You want to earn your nights on your travel. This is great. So you're not sacrificing, hey, I need to get to 50 nights for Platinum or 75 for Titanium or whatever it is. You're not giving up your nights for your, this family vacation to Disney. So those are a couple of the really nice perks there. I have seen some decent promos of, 20, 30% off or a free night here or there. So there can be some decent value there as well.
Yeah. Some of these Marriott brands, I really struggle to know like where they fit in my lifestyle even. Yep. I don't know. Sometimes they're just a little too crazy. I was thinking of like two properties that fall under the Luminous umbrella, kind of as like the W in Santiago, Chile, which I really liked, and the JW Marriott in Cusco, Peru. And so, I mean, the nice thing about Marriott is they're just everywhere. I think they have a lot of good options. I mean, sadly, there's probably a lot more inferior products, out there as well. Two B properties that are kind of on my radar that I'd give a shout to is the Do in Bali. Especially if you can travel with a huge group there. They have a 11-bedroom villa. Ooh. That's like not unreasonably priced. They also have smaller villas, like 2-3 bedroom, but like, if not 5 or 6 families or just, a lot of rowdy friends that you can all get together. The villa is like separate from the hotel on the beach. And then
that's cool.
If you've ever looked in Shanghai, which I have some other hotels I want to stay at there too, but like the pool deck view from the W Shanghai Bund is incredible. It's like that picturesque like movie Shanghai scene that you see from like the Tom Cruise whatever movie, that Mission Impossible that they go to there. Don't discredit Luminous just because it's not a Ritz Carlton or something. They do, like you mentioned, some of those Sheratons are really nice and some are really bad. There are definitely some really good properties to extract some decent value out of the program for sure.
Yeah, I know, like we talked about, you and I have chatted, right? When you start staying in a lot of big cities and you're comparing to like a Four Seasons or something like that, a lot of times the prices are similar, and I know you love Four Seasons. I love Four Seasons. So those decisions become tough. One thing I do think that, Marriott brand in general does really well, and they have a really good footprint, and it's places I love to visit, is the Caribbean. So you think about just the footprint, and I'm going to lump Bermuda into the Caribbean, some awesome properties. You've got St. Regis Bermuda. You've got Ritz-Carlton St. Thomas, you've got Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman, Ritz-Carlton Turks and Caicos, you've got St. Regis, Aruba's getting ready to open, you've got Ritz-Carlton Aruba. I mean, you've got just a ton of really great Caribbean options. We talked about Mexico, you got St. Regis Kenai, you've got Edition Kenai. The Bowie House looks awesome, which is St. Thomas is it St. Thomas? No, St. Martin, I believe. Well, whichever island, but the Bowie House looks awesome. I think Marriott probably does the Caribbean better than any brand out there, I believe, would be my take.
From like a quality of hotels or quantity, or you think even both a little bit?
I think a combo of both, right? I mean, the one nice thing is, at least you've got a brand standard, so you kind of know what you're going to get for the most part. I've I stayed at the St. Regis Bermuda. I really enjoyed that property. It's a small property. It's like 120 rooms, but it's one of the only, if not the only property that's beachfront in Bermuda. And it's right next to a fort. I mean, Bermuda was probably one of my favorite islands. I know the season's really short there, but there's some really good deals outside of the season. And if you can catch the weather right? So think about Bermuda is Memorial Day to Labor Day for the most part. We went like mid-October probably, or early October, which is about a month outside of season. So it can be cooler. We lucked out and had great weather. So it wasn't busy. Prices are reasonable and it was awesome. So that's a great property. I love Ritz Aruba, and they're going to open St. Regis Aruba. So that's going to be, I can't wait to stay there when that opens. Yeah, I just think they've got some really good luxury properties in the Caribbean that give you some really good options.
Do any of the Caribbean Marriotts have casinos?
Yeah, quite a few of them, I believe. So I know I lost some money at the Ritz in Turks and Caicos. I know the Ritz Aruba has one. So what's really interesting, the St. Regis in Bermuda was supposed to be the first casino on the island when it opened. And you can actually, if you ever stay there, you can see where the casino is built. And they actually have a fake wall to the entrance of it. And whatever happened, Bermuda has not yet legalized gambling. So there's a casino built at the St. Regis Bermuda. And it's there, but there's a fake wall in front of it. So hopefully that gets open sometime. But yeah, Marriott Stars in Aruba's got a casino. I know the Marriott in Puerto Rico had a casino when I was there. I mean, I think there's quite a few.
What Marriotts are in Puerto Rico? That's the first ever Ritz Carlton Reserve that's there, correct?
Yeah. So yeah, Ritz Dorado, which I have yet to stay there, but I have heard nothing but amazing things about that place. You've got the Marriott's there. I don't think the Ritz Carlton has opened back up yet though. So you got the Ritz Reserve, but then you also have the Ritz Carlton, which got hit in the hurricane. And I think I read that it's opening. I don't know if it's open yet. You've got the St. Regis in Puerto Rico. You've got, I think La Concha may still be a Marriott property. I don't know that off the top of my head, but that was a great property. But yeah, they've got quite a few options there actually.
The St. Regis there is a huge property. They've got like their own, I think it is called like the St. Regis something golf course on, I think like 500 acres. It's pretty big. You've got a couple miles of private beach and it's not even that far. I want to say it's about a 30-minute drive to the airport.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You know, that's definitely like a really nice kind of easy trip too, right? I mean, if you're talking San Juan to New York and a lot of the East Coast, Atlanta, it's a really easy flight. You don't even need a passport.
Yeah, well, and I think one thing to add there, which is very different than a lot of Caribbean islands, you can actually get a later flight into Puerto Rico. My experience, most Caribbean islands, their airports close at like 5 o'clock. So you're flying in the morning. So you're not going for the week. You're not flying out Friday after work or anything like that, where I've noticed Puerto Rico has some later flights that you can take.
That's interesting.
I know that's, if you're going for a short, if you're going for a 2 or 3 nighter, like that makes a big difference being able to leave after work versus the next morning.
Right. Like leaving Friday night versus Saturday morning. And they've got Puerto Rico's really heavy with a lot of the low cost carriers as well, which not all of them are doing very well. But what about while we're just chopping it up about the Caribbean for a few minutes, what's Marriott's presence like in Grand Cayman? I'm going there in March. So like what property options there?
There's actually quite a few. So you've got the Ritz Grand Cayman, you've got the Westin, and you've got the Marriott. So Ritz is obviously Stars, so you get all those benefits, that's a really cool property. Westin and Marriott are both Luminous properties, so you can still get some good benefits there. I booked both of those pretty recently for people. I booked Westin and I booked the Ritz Carlton for people in the last few months. So I feel like both of them have been, I've got good feedback on both of them. I think if I was choosing between the Westin and Marriott, Westin typically wins out. I think the Marriott is still trying to get their beach in order. I think a lot of it got washed away. So that would probably be I'd probably go Westin or Ritz Carlton. I mean, there's a ton of other good properties in Grand Cayman, but Marriott wise, talking Stars and Luminous, those would probably be my choices.
The Westin and Ritz are pretty close together, right on 7 Mile Beach.
Yeah, they may even be right next to each other, but they are very close. I mean, I know the last time I was there, I was walking, I was like, all right, there's the Westin, there's the Ritz, right? They're right there.
Very cool. I'm staying at none of those properties, but I will be reviewing my property once I actually stay there for spring break, so that'll be kind of fun. And
I was going to say, I don't know if we were going to hit this, but I was going to hit on the MGM collection.
Yeah, I'd like to talk Vegas for sure. How is Las Vegas relevant to the Luminous and Stars program?
Yeah, so this program really just came back earlier this year, and they included a lot more properties than I had expected, which is really nice. So it is not Luminous and it's not Stars per se. It probably falls more towards Luminous, but they're calling it the MGM collection, which is its own collection of properties. And that's going to be I'm just pulling my list up. So it's Aria, Bellagio, MGM Grand, Mandalay Bay, Park MGM, Cosmo, and Vidara. So some of these fall under what I would call like where you get Stars benefits. Some are Luminous benefits, but they're all considered the MGM collection. So, thinking higher end ones, Aria, Bellagio, Cosmo, right? So those are going to be where you get the Stars benefits, where you get the property credit, the breakfast, things like that. The other ones, which are, MGM, Mandalay, Park, and Vidara, these have a little bit different benefits to them. So I'm just going to pull this up because it's typically more like a property credit per stay. So it's not a daily breakfast credit or anything like that. It is typically going to be $100 property credit with 2-night stay minimum. But you and I talked before, and I pulled up some what I would think are really good rates. I pulled MGM, and it was like $100 a night with the resort fee included. So, after taxes, you're maybe $125, $130. And on a 2-night stay, you're going to get $100 food and beverage credit, which is, that's basically like another $50 off a night. So you can get some really good deals on those. But then you also still get, some of the other things. You're getting room upgrade based on availability, early check-in, late checkout based on availability. But some of my favorites, my favorite Vegas hotel is Cosmo. I love the balconies. The buffet there is great. Wicked Spoon, right? So you got the credit you can use each day at Wicked Spoon. They got a ton of other really good breakfast options, but Wicked Spoon with, Cosmo balcony, that's probably be my go-to Vegas spot.
Interesting. Yeah, and if you might notice, the Delano is not on that list, but hat tip to the Miles to Memories Vegas podcast YouTube show. I guess it is also a podcast. They just, on their episode yesterday, were saying that that's going to be converted into a W hotel. So likely we'll see that in the Luminous program once that conversion is all taken care of, which I do like that property. The rooms are really big. I think it was initially built as a residence, I'm pretty sure, back in the day.
It was it's all suites, right? So they're all huge rooms. Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, downside is I don't like being that far south into the strip, but like if you have stuff to do down there, or like if you have a trade show at Mandalay or like a concert going on at House of Blues or something, I think that's a great property. And honestly, even if you can't get a lot of value out of the W, you've got Four Seasons, which we can help with. Four Seasons Preferred Partner, which is the top of Mandalay Bay. And even Mandalay Bay, like I haven't stayed there in probably 5 or 6 years, but when I have stayed there, the rooms there are great.
Yeah. I love that Four Seasons. Great property. So this is one that, you have a family, I have a family. I always tell people, right, Vegas isn't necessarily, I would say, the most kid-friendly spot, but I feel like Mandalay is a good, like if you're coming with if you have kids in tow, it's a good spot to stay. You're kind of out of the action. You're not center strip where there's, they're not going to see a ton of craziness, at the property, I would say. It's got a great pool area. I think if you're going with family, it's a really good option.
Yeah, and Four Seasons also too, like if you can swing that with a family, you always kind of feel like you're away from the chaos there versus
it's a good spot.
Other places. Mandalay Bay also has that what is it called? Like it's basically an aquarium, right?
Yeah.
That's still
I don't
there.
remember the name of it, but yeah, it's there.
I don't either. So like and I haven't been since I used to be a MGM Platinum and you could go for free. So I used to just use my credits or tickets to do that. The Shark Reef Aquarium.
Yes.
It's actually not bad. It's, if you've done the Georgia Aquarium or some of the better ones in the States, it's not amazing, but I think it's like $20-$30, which everything in Vegas is, $20 or $30. And then they've got a couple thousand animals. They've got some huge rays, some piranhas, Komodo dragons. Like it's a pretty sweet setup for if you're just like in Vegas, you've already got your family, you pick one of those hotels. I think it's not a bad option. Decent dining too at Mandalay Bay. Not that I meant to turn this into like a Mandalay Bay podcast, but what about, is there any reason why you would do MGM without the Marriott program? Is there any other like angles you can see, or unless if you don't have comps, then pretty much Star and Luminescence your best kind of like way to get in?
Yeah, I mean, you may be able to get, if you have Players Club book direct, there may be a cheaper rate. I don't know that for sure. But really, if you're staying 2 nights or more, I feel like this is a great option. You're going to at least get a credit. And if you're working, I know we said it before, if you're working towards any kind of status, you're getting the nights, you're getting the points. Like you're not missing anything there. And midweek, I mean, that's a smoking deal. I mean, yeah, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't book that.
One question you might not know the answer to, but I'm sure we could figure out and follow up if not as well. Do you know how well your spend at these hotels credits into your, like, converts to Marriott? I haven't been to any hotels, so I'm like, if you're running around doing dining at, say, Aria, Cosmo, and staying at Mandalay, is all that getting you, points if you're platinum or titanium exec or something?
So I honestly don't know the answer to that. Because the program is so new, I don't know the answer to that, honestly. Like, if you can charge everything back to your room where you're staying or how that works as far as points. Because I know a lot of places, right, if it's owned by a third party, you may not be earning the points for it. And I feel like a lot of outlets in Vegas are third party. So I don't know the answer to that.
Sure. It did work with Hyatt, which is one of the reasons I asked. And so I wonder with them having their own program, it seems like their integration is pretty strong. So I'm sure someone can let us know, or I know some people we can ask and find that out. But that also might be another good tip. Like if you've got some big dinners or you're doing some stuff and you want some Marriott earned back, because especially if you have status with Marriott, like your points earned picks up real fast.
Yep. Yeah, titanium's 75% bonus points or something like that. Like that's significant. It ramps up significant.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking too, you've got all these people going for conventions. If you're like a salesperson or, some kind of executive or someone that needs to take some people out, all the more reason I think to get in on a Stars Luminescent rate book. And then, if you can lay out $2,500 for some steak dinner, which, sadly that's only like taking 8 or 10 people out these days in Vegas, especially if you're getting reimbursed for that. Right. And then, yeah, exactly. You're getting that bonus spend kickback. That's pretty nice to translate to a trip later on down the road. Anything else with this Marriott program we can touch on, or any other properties just in general from Marriott you've been excited about? I was trying to think. There's definitely a few properties, like even in luxury collection in addition, that I kind of radar, but I don't know enough about to really like pontificate for a long time. Yeah. But like there's a property in San Sebastian I've been pretty excited about to stay. I was like fighting between that and booking at Nobu, but I haven't booked either yet. Oh, what's the name of that hotel? The Hotel Maria Cristina. You said you had a booking there too, right? I think, or were you staying somewhere else?
Where is that one?
That's like right in San Sebastian. It's in like
I have not booked that one.
Okay.
So I actually just stayed at a luxury collection property in Athens, the Grand Hotel Britannia. That was probably one of the nicest properties I've stayed at recently.
Athens, Greece, and not Athens, Georgia.
Yeah, not Athens, Georgia.
People keep track.
The hotel's 150 years old, but they just do such a good job there. It was really nice. So if you're in Athens, that's a great spot.
The pictures you sent me looked really cool. It definitely looked like an old style, like St. Regis. Like everything was like old, but very like meticulously taken care of.
Yeah, but it reminded me a lot of like St. Regis, New York. It was, it's a 150-year-old building, but it just felt like classic luxury. Nothing was, everything was well kept. I mean, it was great.
Perfect. Well, I think that is the Marriott's. I think that is the Marriott Stars and Luminescent program. I think Marriott just has so many properties, right? So there's just probably an endless amount of uses we can help you out on that side. Drop us a message if you've got some interest in using this program. And I think we should be staying at some Marriotts and reviewing those individual properties here too coming up. So